Welcome, YouTube, to Alpha Mega Sin's premiere episode of Comic Book Pickups. Yep, because as many of you know, I do love my video games, but I also do love my comic books. And here's the thing, I buy comic books all the time. I buy them a tad bit more often than I do video games, oddly enough. And the thing is, as much as I talk about them with a lot of my friends, I never talk about them on the channel that much. So I decided that I would start doing pickup videos and just give a little detail on each comic and why they're badass and whatnot, and how other people should be picking them up because they're awesome. So anyway, let's get this shit started. Now, one thing that you'll notice is I'm a very DC comic-centric person. Not to say I don't like Marvel comics, but ever since the new DC 52 premiered a couple months back, I've pretty much just been picking that stuff up because it's starting over for the most part for many of the major comics series. And it's been pretty exciting, and a lot of the stories were really well written, so that's what I've been into lately. So, start off with this right here. Got Justice League issue number 2. And then right there is Superman. Really pissed off at Batman, poor Batman, and Green Lantern trying to tell him, chill out. But he's not. He's obviously pretty pissed off. Justice, out of the entire DC 52, so far my two favorite series going right now are Detective Comics and Justice League. This is the premier Justice League series. There's 3 Justice League comic series going on right now. There's Justice League International, and Justice League Dark. I'm oddly enough reading all 3 series, but this one by far is the very best. This pretty much continues all the mystery of what the hell is going on with the random box that they had found in the first issue, and it's slowly premiering each individual character that we all know and love in the Justice League. So it's pretty cool seeing them all show up, and apparently in issue 3 we'll see Wonder Woman finally, so that'll be pretty neat. So definitely worth picking up, and check out issue 1 because that one owns. Let's see what we got here. Speaking of Detective Comics, I have Detective Comics issue number 3. My hand's covering up right there. Yep. So, Detective Comics, like I said, really awesome. The Dollmaker is a new villain that they have showing up in this, and he kicks a ton of ass. Pretty much, it looks like his strings are being pulled by somebody else, but for the most part, him as a villain, he kind of has people that are just chopped up and then formed back together in a Frankenstein-type fashion. And Batman obviously has to figure out who the hell he is and stop him from doing a bunch of bad stuff, and Commissioner Gordon is mixed up in the act, so yeah, things are kind of crazy. But it kicks tons of ass, and I love it just because it gets more back to the, whodunit type of mystery thing that I love so much about Detective Comics series. So yeah, this is very awesome, and first 2 issues are definitely worth picking up. So check those 2 series out because I like them a whole bunch. Now, one series I do talk about greatly is Nightwing. Now, a lot of people I know are kind of iffy on Nightwing, like the comic series Nightwing, which had ended by, 2 years ago, I believe? It was something like that. No, it was actually by a year and a half ago. Nightwing had ended, and the thing is, I love that series. Hell, even towards the end it was getting really good. It had its down points that it was kind of meh, but for the most part I thought it kicked a ton of ass, and was really cool just seeing, a sidekick, the world's most famous sidekick in comic book history, go on and branch out and become a really badass character. Well, they brought Nightwing back, so, Dick Grayson, who obviously is Nightwing, temporarily was Batman for a while whenever they premiered the Batman Robin comic series whenever Bruce Wayne wasn't around. Well, now it's back to basics and he's Nightwing again, and shit's pretty much very crazy. One very kick-ass cover art and everything. That's one of the new villains right there. I like this whole lot. By the way, the person's called Psycho, if you can't tell. It says in the bottom, Psycho Killer. But yeah, just really cool. They bring in the whole Haley's Circus thing, which, as many of you know, Robin had grown up in a circus and everything, and they're bringing that into the fray. So it's pretty much his past is coming up and in like a very big way, and it's affecting the present. So it's kind of interesting to see where this is going to be going. The first and second issue are pretty much just really building up, so there should be a boiling point at some point within issue 3 or 4, I think. But yeah, so far, really good introduction to the series and very kick-ass. Next, we have Justice League International, which I had just mentioned as one of the other Justice League comics that they have going right now. Now, Justice League International pretty much has Batman... Oh, by the way, this is issue 3, if anybody's wondering. I didn't actually say that. Justice League International pretty much is a lot like the regular Justice League comics, except for it doesn't have some of the heavy hitters like, you know, the Flash. It doesn't have Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and whatnot, even though there is a Green Lantern in there. Guy from the Green Lantern Corps, he's in there, but Batman shows up as kind of like the pivotal centerpiece and the leader and whatnot. So it's pretty neat to see where this series is going. It's kind of bizarre reading 2 different Justice League comics, and he shows up in both of them. But considering he's one of the most famous characters within DC Comics, and on top of that, he's kind of like a born leader of sorts, despite the fact that he's like a big-time loner. So yeah, definitely worth checking out if you like Justice League a whole lot. So yeah, Justice League International. Oh, but here's the thing. Speaking of Justice League International, issue 2 of Justice League International. Not too much more to say about this compared to that one. And both of them are very cool, just seeing, you know, what direction that these are going in. It's kind of surprising. It's a lot of, like, universal destruction type deal going on, but it's really neat just seeing how some of the characters interact with one another. So yeah, same thing. It's awesome. Now, this is kind of a late pickup for me because my local comic book stores have been sold out of this consistently for months and months and months. As a matter of fact, these came out, let's see, well, it says September and October, but they've been available for a while now. And I'll just show them both here. And that's Flashpoint Batman issues 2 and 3. Now, this is part of the Flashpoint series that had concluded recently. And the thing is, Flashpoint was a very kick-ass series, but the thing is, this was by far my favorite part of it, just because Batman isn't your typical Batman anymore. This is kind of like an Elseworlds story. If anybody's familiar with Elseworlds, it's kind of like they take basic storylines like Batman literally will be able to be in like a completely different time and he'll do different things and everything. Well, that's what it's like with this. Instead of it being Bruce Wayne, it's Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father. And he does not give a shit. Like, he'll kill people. That right there should actually say something to you, is it's Batman killing people. Well, some people, but still. And Joker shows up and everything. And just seeing how different some of the things are, like, people actually know that he's Batman, not just like it's a big secret to everybody. It is. It's just a really interesting direction for it. I'm really hoping, since they brought up the whole new DC 52, that they decide to keep Thomas Wayne around in some kind of way. I know it would be a mindfuck for a lot of people and hard to explain, but he's such an awesome Batman. Like, he really, really is. He just does not give a shit. Like, it's like a Frank Miller style, just even angrier and more pissed off. Like, it's really good. So if you see the Flashpoint series Batmans, please pick them up. Just awesome. I cannot say enough good stuff about them. They just kick ass. Hoo hoo hoo. Looky there, it's more Batman. Yep, this is the basic Batman series right here. Pretty much as most of you can tell, I am a big Batman fanatic. I pick up Batman comics all the time, and the collected versions and graphic novels, both softcover and hardcover versions. I have not gotten to read this yet, so I can't say how awesome it is. But I did like issue 1 a whole bunch. I'd say that this isn't as good as Detective Comics. That's literally like the best version of all the Batman comics, but this comes in a pretty close second. Batman and Robin coming in at third. Not to go and dismiss it or anything, but that's the order that I put them in as a Batman fan. So yeah, if you're a fan of Batman, obviously, you want to pick up the obvious running series. It's in the title, damn it. Now this one is one that's a little more out in left field, but that's one of the reasons why I like it, and that's Suicide Squad. Now Suicide Squad is pretty cool because, well, if you look right there, that is Harley Quinn. You wouldn't think it just because she looks so different, and that's Deadshot in the front. The basic premise of Suicide Squad is it's a bunch of bad guys who are all forced to work together and go on missions, because if they don't, they'll be blown to pieces, literally, with a bomb planted inside of all of them. So they're kind of forced into these situations, but the thing is, this comic reeks of the 90s, and that's really a truth. It's very ultra-violent, very like far out in left field. It kind of reminds me a lot of the Marvel offerings, to be honest, whenever I was little and just reading comics and stuff. But it is. As a matter of fact, this kind of reminds me of stuff like Vertigo would put out. It's just, it's very cool. You know, I really like seeing a bunch of the egos kind of clash together and how different some of the personalities are, and just seeing them try to, you know, get through a mission and everything. So it is pretty cool. You know, they did have the Secret Six before, which was pretty kick-ass, but this is pretty much taking its place, which I do hope that they decide to bring that back at some point. But Suicide Squad is really cool if you are a fan of the anti-hero like myself. I really do like that a whole lot, so it does. It kicks tons of ass and is worth your hard-earned money. Which isn't too bad, because all the DC comics are only $2.99, unless you get the 100-page Giants, I believe, or 80-page Giants, I forget. But those cost more, obviously. But the regular running series are only $2.99 a pop, which is not too bad. You know, and I know lots of people can be like, I can just download the comics. I really like supporting the industry, and you know, that right there only costs $27 for all that content. That's not too bad. That was more than feasible for me to go and cough up. So yeah, and considering that it's still the beginning of the month, I have lots more comics to buy. You know, I'm going to end up doing another episode of this and just showing them off and everything. But yeah, so this concludes my very first episode of my comic book pickups. I hope that plenty of you out there watching at home enjoyed this. Maybe I even got some of you sort of interested in some of these series that you weren't familiar with or even interested in whatsoever. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed it, because comic books do in fact kick ass. So this is Alpha Omega Sin saying, well, I usually say game the fuck on, but I don't know. If you can think of something clever for me to say, type it down below. But anyways, I'm out!